Greetings and welcome back to your coffee break. Today you'll see the last installment in the Daemon Prince Paint and Guide series. The objects of focus today are this electrical energy that surrounds Tialevor, as well as some embroidered patterns on his cloth. And we're starting out with this energy type stuff. So for the first step, we're just going to base coat the entirety of this energy with Dark Sea Blue by Vallejo. This process will be taking a little bit more time than regular base coating because I've already painted the areas below it, and so I have to make sure to not get my paint all over my already finished paint jobs. And the idea here, in order to avoid creating an imbalance with the addition of this blue, is to firstly make it a bit desaturated, but also include it in the pattern on the cloth as well as a little bit in his hair. This will make sure that the blue element is present all over the mini and therefore not making it imbalanced. And for the second part, I'm using Underbelly Blue by P3 formula. And in this step, I'm just blocking out where I want the highlights to be. I'm essentially picking these at random, and I'm also applying several coats to make it more opaque. And this is how it looks after I've blocked out the areas. Now I have to make these transitions a little bit more seamless. And so I've mixed the two paints that we used, and they are being applied in a glaze-like manner. And I'm of course applying this between the two areas that I want to blend together. With that being done, I'm now going on to the next highlighting step, and now I'm mixing some Glacier Blue by Vallejo into the Underbelly Blue that was used before. This I'm just focusing on to the hottest spots where I want the energy to be the lightest or brightest. Next, I'm going with the pure Glacier Blue. This is the penultimate highlighting step. And lastly, I'm just mixing a bit of dead white into the Glacier Blue for the final highlight. And this is how it looks right now. And now I thought I wanted to make the darker parts even darker, to make the contrast greater. And to do that, I've mixed some black by watercolors into the previously used dark sea blue. And these I'm applying in a sort of glazy way into the darker areas, or where I want the energy to be the darkest. I'm doing this in several coats. Every coat I'm focusing on a smaller area. For the very last step here, I'm just making a glaze from the dark sea blue that we've been using all along. And with this I am trying to blend the areas between the darker parts and the lighter parts. So basically the mid-tone. And hopefully this will blend it together and make it more seamless. And now for the pattern of his cloth. I originally got inspired by this painting that I found somewhere on the web, where someone had painted this planet in a very interesting way. So I thought I would try to replicate this on the cloth, but in the end I didn't end up doing it quite like this. Regardless, the first step is to grab the Glacier Blue by Vallejo. As you can see, the cloth has already been highlighted and shaded normally in this purpley tone, and now I'm just adding the pattern on top of it with this Glacier Blue. Preferably use some flow improver or similar products to make your paint flow off your brush easier. And now we just go for it. I'm not really concerned with painting this perfectly, because my plan is to add so much of the pattern so that the visual confusion will make it look decent, even though none of the lines are perfectly painted. Here we have a close-up. You can see me painting these circles or onion type things, and you can also see that I'm definitely not doing this perfectly, but I think that this won't matter so much in the end. After I've actually painted the entire pattern onto the cloth, it's glazing time. And so I went with the base tone of the regular cloth, which was royal purple. I made a glaze from it, and now I'm coating the entirety of the cloth with this glaze. And now we are doing the more controlled glazing. I'm not going to glaze the entirety of the cloth. And here we are mixing royal purple with hull red. These two will be the glaze for the shaded areas. As you can see here, I can kind of follow the guideline I have underneath, where the cloth is already shaded, so I focus on these areas when I'm applying this glaze. And for the glazes, I'm applying several coats each time, because one pass over doesn't really make that much of an impact. I'm going a bit back and forth here. So after the hull red royal purple mix, I'm just going back to the regular purple, because I thought the rest of the cloak also needed a bit of toning down. And now I'm just mixing a little bit of black from watercolors into the previous glaze that I used. And these are going to desaturate it even more in the shaded areas. And that's it for the shading, mostly. Now I'm going back to the glacier blue. And here we're focusing on bringing out some of those highlights yet again. And I'm trying to do this in the areas that I think would be the most lit up from whatever light source that there is. I'm also adding just a tinge of dead white to the highest highlight here. And one of the best ways to paint is actually to just go back and forth. So that you can see the results between your decisions. So I'm going back to the royal purple glaze here to make everything more in line. With that being done, and with the base and his hair and some other details being painted off camera, I'm calling Tialevor or the Daemon Prince completed. And here are the pictures. Here's also a group pic of the Daemon Prince leading his armies across this blasted landscape. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this first few videos. I'd appreciate it if you told me what you liked about them and what you disliked about them in the comment section below. I'll see you in a little while for the next project, which I intend to film as well. Until next time, put some paint on some minis, but also do take a coffee break.